yet. What's the name of it?
The Package Deal. This is the Package Deal podcast. Alright, this is Oscar Ryder, and this is the Package Deal.
Don't laugh while you're doing
that.
Yeah,
no,
serious.
Okay. Welcome to the Package Deal podcast. We got.
My name is Benson Ho.
My name is Oscar Ryder, the host.
I'm Brian Diaz. David Sabata.
Kevin Diaz.
Alright, today we're gonna open off the podcast with the question of what does the future entail for you? What does your future look like? What are your plans for the future? What do you want to do with your life? I'll just open it up to the table, see who wants to go first.
That's the first topic, like the future one?
That's the first question.
I guess I'll go first. So, my future is basically I wanted to be a pilot. I'm also in flight school right now. I wanted to follow my family's footsteps because on my dad's side, they're all in like aviation. So a pilot's one of my goals. And also for like family, I want to have a good family. It's probably like 2 kids. I like Oscar. But yeah, and for the future, my most worries is just like I don't want my kids to have to worry like about money or like anything or see me struggle financially. That's really it in a nutshell.
What about you, Brian?
For my future, I want to graduate from Florida State with a business degree. So with that, I want to pursue housing development and being a licensed contractor for developing houses. It's called like a builder, and I don't know. I just really don't want to live like a too grandiose life, like something like relatively simple. I kind of have like the same idea of a family as Benson, with 2 kids, and I don't know. I'd rather not have my family struggle. I'd rather have them not to worry about anything and be able to accomplish what they want ultimately and pursue their dreams.
What about you, David?
For like my near future, I'm pretty sure I'm going to UWF, and first I'm gonna get my associate's degree, and then like I think this year I'm really gonna research like what major, like really think about what I want to do in my life. And for my family, I'd like to have 4 kids, like 3 to 4. I like to have, at least a boy and a girl, but I'll take whatever. It's really my choice.
How about your soccer life?
Soccer, I'm definitely gonna, even if I play at college or I just play intramural, I'll keep on playing because I like doing it. And then as for like my family, like I definitely I want to be successful and like not like them, not have them worry. But I definitely like want to be as like successful as I can. Like I want to aim high. That's basically it.
What about you, Kevin?
I'm not sure what I really want to do in the future, but in like my family plans, I want about like 3 kids. I want to be like successful in something. I'm not sure though. It's like mostly mechanical what I want to do, like with like parts of cars and stuff. But besides that, I'm not sure too much about the rest. I really need to get into that though.
Yeah.
My future.
You got a lot of time though. Well,
Yeah, should we mention he's only 14?
yeah, he's only 14. We're all seniors. He's got more of it figured out than some of us, me included. So I got a interesting question for you guys. So what does family mean for you? Because all of you guys mentioned family.
Well, how about your backstory first?
My
Or
backstory.
not your
what-
backstory,
what-
your future.
My future? Okay. For me, what I'm planning on doing, what I've established is that in August I'm going to be leaving for a mission trip for my church. I'm going to be a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for 2 years, and I'm going to go spread the gospel to people. It's going to either be across the country or it's going to be in a different country. I may have to learn a new language, but that would be a good asset. That'd be a good skill to learn. Plus I'm going to learn to live on my own and have the joy of bringing people to the church. And then after that, I'm planning on going to, I don't want to go to UWF. I'm not completely sure what college, but I'll probably go to BYU in Utah. be with all the Mormons in Utah. And probably study religion, or I don't know completely yet. And what type of family I would like? Well, I obviously want a healthy family, a healthy relationship with my wife. I want to have at least 2 children, preferably a boy and a girl. And I want to get married, and I want to have children young, even if that comes with stress, financial stress or struggles. I want to mature and to teach that to my children too. So that's what my future entails for me, hopefully. I want to ask you guys, what does a good family look like for you? What is the importance of family?
As like our family, or
What is
like
the importance of family for society? Like in general.
Well, let's see.
How does family influence society or your life?
Well, in my life, I feel like my parents without my parents, I wouldn't be where I am right now, and also who I am right now. I feel like they've influenced me and taught me a bunch of discipline, and it just made me who I am today, basically.
For my family, I think they're, I really appreciate them for everything they've done. I've appreciated how patient they've been with me, how loving they've been to me, and even no matter how many times I've screwed up, they've always been there. They've always had my back, and I guess that's just what love really is. Being there in spite of hard times.
I think for me, it's definitely the most, it should be God, and I think family is the most important thing, because they're always going to be there for you. And I like what you said about having kids young. When starting my own family, I would like to do it like my late 20s. And I think it's important to keep it, even if you move away, it's important to keep in touch with them. My mom's family, some of them don't, she has a lot of siblings, some of them don't visit a lot. And when I saw that, it made me want to make sure I stay in touch with my family and make sure I always check in on them when I'm older.
Yeah. What about you, Kevin?
Alright, so for me, family is just being there through the hard times of hardships that you go through, whether it be getting into an ant pile, or or getting in a car crash, anything that's decent size, just being there for others is really important.
Yeah, I like that.
After you say your thing, I have a question to ask.
So what does family mean for me? Well, obviously for me in my life, I wouldn't be alive without my parents. It goes without explaining. And then obviously they shaped me a lot. They've taught me a lot of values that are important to live a good life. They've given me a lot of opportunity to not have to stress about finances. They've given me opportunity to have a hopeful future. They've given me opportunity to make friends and to go to good schools and get education. And a bunch of other crazy stuff like working out, and I have a cold plunge. Somehow they supported me with that. So yeah, and then family for society. Family is extremely important for society. Family is the foundation of society, and without good parents to instill that in their children, not only would children not respect their elders, they'd definitely be more likely to be antisocial, so more likely to not make friends, but also more likely to be criminals. Because antisocial behavior is connected to that. And then also emotional instability. And then relationships in their future. If you see your parents with a good relationship, and that teaches you what you want or don't want for your future relationship with your wife or husband. So yeah, that's what family means for me.
Yeah, so for family, I wanted to talk about
the love aspect, like the loving part, because in my culture, I come from a Vietnamese background, and my parents, like, with y'all, sometimes I see like love through like words and like stuff like that, but for me, I've never like really said I love you to my parents, but like I could see the love shown through their actions. So I want to see, like, within y'all's culture, like, how is love shown or seen?
Well, I mean, love through words is one thing, but love through action is completely different. I mean, you can say you love somebody and not act that way, so love through action is probably more meaningful. I mean, love is not just encouragement, but also like support, and also no matter the circumstance, practically, your parents or your family's there for you. It's not like it's different from friends, because friends can and usually will come and go, but family usually doesn't, and that's something that's very important that needs to be maintained. So like I think love is shown through continual support, and through teaching people responsibility. You know, that tough love, you know, they teach you to handle responsibility, and if they didn't care, they wouldn't have taken out the time or the effort to explain it to you and to argue with you and to help you get a job and to help you begin driving and help you have children, all sorts of things.
I think that one of the biggest forms of a way a family member can show love is through sacrifice, through giving up something in order for you to have a better future. For example, my parents, you know, my dad, he could have had a easier life in Mexico if he didn't, but he came over here, sacrificed himself for me, working extra hard, you know, picking up, you know, working 2 jobs at a time so I could have a better future than what he had. And you know, that's one of the biggest forms of love, is giving up something for someone that you love more than yourself.
Yeah, I love that actually.
Yeah, I like what you said about sacrifice. Like, I know my dad hates his job, but he always talks about how he does it because he loves us. And like, what you were talking about, like Ben was talking about, like loving each other. Like, I feel like we said that like a good amount. I mean, like, I'm like 18 though. Like, it'd be weird to go into, or I'm 17. It'd be weird to like just go into like the living room and be like, "Dad, I love you." It'd be kind of awkward. But like, I think we definitely show it through like our actions.
Why is that awkward?
Like, what if like imagine you're just chilling on the TV and I came and I was like, "Dad, I love you." Like, it's not awkward. Like, I would we and my dad tell each other that, but like, I think as you gotten older, like, it's just like you just show it through your actions.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like it's not needed to be explained. It's kind of like you already know that.
Well, I feel, David, I just haven't said I love you to my parents at all since like when I was little, so I feel like growing up, I don't know, it'd be awkward. But I would love to say it more to them, but
I think it's encouraging to say that, because it's like a reminder, you know, like to say you love somebody, and part of it's that awkwardness, because it's like it takes a little bit of courage to go out there and say it. So that means if somebody says it, it's pretty meaningful.
And yeah, and like I've heard people like say, like, just start saying I love you to your parents, because you don't know when the last time you'll say I love you to them. So
and
like,
that'd be way worse if you never said it and they were gone. You'd regret not saying it, you know. What about you, Kevin?
I mean, also with love, it's being able to be supportive of others, you know? Like being able to be proud of others, because sometimes you don't really want others to do better than you. You want to see yourself at the top, but being able to be at that second position and see others do better than you, it's
a sacrifice.
It's unifying.
Brothers on the same frequency. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love that. Like, that's a really good point, the sacrifice thing, because I mean that's like the hallmark of maturity. I mean, like, responsibility, you have to sacrifice something. Sacrifice the short term for the future, and for having children, I mean, you have to sacrifice just doing whatever feels good and whatever is fun, because I mean, you do that and your children are not going to grow up looking seeing the right things in you, or in the right things in society, and they're not going to grow up to be as successful as they could be, or it'll take another mentor to change them. So, this is going to completely change it all. Like, this is a completely different question, but so you guys are all Catholic. How has the Catholic Church shaped you? How has it helped you? How has it hurt you? What does it mean for you? So,
Well, for me, the Catholic Church is like, I've been in the Catholic Church like my whole life. My parents are Catholic. So for me, like, I've had my ups and downs, like, with religion. Oscar can, like, tell you this too, but, like, I recently just got back into going to church and stuff like that. And going back to church, I actually feel, like, more happier, and praying to God, I feel, you know, just better about myself. And participating in, like, many, like, events like Lent and stuff like that, you know, just practicing religion in general just makes me, you know, just feel good about myself.
yeah.
Embraces myself.
Lent is definitely a good example of sacrifice. Lent can be difficult.
I grew up in the Catholic Church. My parents are both Catholic. Catholicism was really big in Mexico, so they brought it over here. And you know, I've never really gotten too deep into the church. I go with my parents to church every opportunity I can. It used to be every Sunday, but now I work on Sundays, so I haven't been going as much, so I haven't been as good about that. But I don't really know where I'm at religiously, but I try to listen. I try whenever they say the
Homily?
The homily, I try to pay attention. And try to listen to the message behind it. And I think usually they are good messages. They usually it's kind of like a story with a moral at the end of it. And I think those morals are important. And I think that religion is a very important base to morality for some people, and I think it's an overall good thing.
Right. So I've always been Catholic my whole life. It's like my mom is Catholic, my dad is like, he used to go to church with us. Like, he didn't grow up religious, so he used to be a Catholic. But I think when I was about 6, he became Greek Orthodox. So every Sunday I go with my mom, my sisters, and my grandma. And then I feel like I think it's a big deal in my life. I remember in middle school though, I went through a time where I was like, I feel like I still kind of am this way. Like, I've always been Catholic, so I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna say like it's like the best church or whatever, but it's like the one I'm in, like the one that I grew up in. But I try to focus more on like my relationship with God and like when I'm praying to Him. But I think the church has a lot of value. They like can teach you like the rules of the church, the culture of it, like Lent, like we were talking about, the homilies that the priest says, and like just giving you like a foundation to put your faith in. But I like to focus on my relationship with God a lot, like praying and trying to act like how I feel like God would want me to.
What about you?
Yeah, I feel the same way as like David. It's a good connection to God. Like, I don't know how to say this, but like, you know, it's like it's good for teaching you, like a gateway, like to teach you like what the right and wrong things are, and like the morals of what you should and shouldn't do, like as through praying through God and all that. And it's a strong connection with others too, others in your life.
Well, on the topic of religion, you and Brian did Ramadan this year. Would you guys like to explain like how that went? How did it start?
Ramadan was interesting. Ramadan definitely requires a lot of sacrifice, and it was a good experience to understand some of the Muslim community, especially because we got invited to the mosques and they were so generous to allow us to go and eat, I mean, for free. And it's kind of it's wild to think that they do that every year. And to me, it's hopeful and inspiring that, I mean, that many people will collectively go and abstain from food. You know, they have food at the house, but they abstain from food for 12 to 14 hours a day to show their devotion to God.
It's one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life. It was horrible. I mean, like, every like school day, I was just sitting through lunch, smelling other people's food. I had headaches all the time. But I think overall, it was a positive experience. You know, it made me, you know, really reflect on, well, overall, like, myself, but also on how other people. You know, this isn't like something optional for them, that they really do go through hunger, and they really do, you know, they don't have the choice if they want to eat or not. They genuinely just struggle with hunger, and that made me think about, you know, how good my life is compared to others.
I want to say something about that. Like, I have lunch with them, and I would see them like struggling every day. Like, I feel like as a like, religion or church, I feel like the Catholic Church could do better with like. Because, like, I mean, what they were doing was crazy, like, compared to, like, what Catholics have to do. Like, the only, like, technical rule is, like, is you're not supposed to eat meat on Friday. But I feel like, if they can do that, I feel like, to show our, like, devotion to God or the church, I feel like we should, like, it's a personal choice, but I feel like we should do our best to, like, sacrifice more instead of just, like, not eating meat on a Friday.
Yeah. What does sacrifice mean to you guys? We were talking about sacrifice a lot. Like, why is sacrifice important? What does it do? How has sacrifice been important in your life?
I think sacrifice can demonstrate, you know, dedication to something or someone. You know, if you're dedicated and if you love a person, you'll sacrifice for them. Sacrifice being, you know, giving up something that could be better for you just to have, you know, an overall better for them. Like, if you could, like, let's say, tell your brother not to wrestle with Oscar so he wouldn't get ant bites. And, you know, looking back on it, I would have told him not to do it, but it's too late now.
Does anybody else have any thoughts?
For me, I feel like putting the other person, like the principle of putting like another person in front of you that's like important in your life is like, I don't know, it's just really significant because I lost my train of thought, but yeah, I don't know. Dang, I just lost my train of thought. I was gonna say on that.
What do you guys think about the idea that somebody is not truly mature, or they're not truly a grown-up until somebody else is more important to them than their self? Somebody is it's like having a child. That child is more important to you, that you're willing to sacrifice your life or live, you know, work a job that you hate, you know, for your child. Do you guys agree or disagree?
I agree. It's like a wake-up call. Like, if you have a child, you want to do everything that in like the child's best interest. Like,
yeah,
you want the best life for them. You want to give them everything, basically. You'll give the world up to them. You'll take a bullet for them. So, like, I 100% agree with that. So
yeah, I like that wake-up call.
I think, like, when you have a child, like, it's easier to like really know what that means too, because it's like it's physically there. Like, you can say like you'd be that way your whole life, but like until it actually happens, like that's when you're really gonna know.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because I mean, it's different. It's definitely different when that's something so vulnerable, especially like an infant, you know, something so vulnerable to external circumstances. Does anybody else have any thoughts on this?
Yeah.
Cameraman?
I actually did have a topic I wanted to bring up.
What was it?
How do we feel about drug abuse in Pensacola?
Interesting.
I don't have anything.
That's a big change. Drug abuse in Pensacola.
I don't like drug abuse. I don't really know much about like Pensacola.
established we don't like drug abuse in Pensacola. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
I don't like drugs, period.
Okay. Should marijuana be legal?
I think so, because people are gonna like, you can get it anyways, so it's like, I feel like they should be like safe for places, because I don't think you can ever completely get rid of it, no matter how hard they try. So I think there should be like safe places for it to get, if people are gonna do it.
I agree with David. I mean, if you want it, you're gonna get it, and there should be more of a focus on harm reduction instead of like completely avoiding a problem that's never gonna completely go away.
Because isn't it illegal now, like in Florida?
Yeah.
Is it legal?
Illegal.
Is it? Oh, is it illegal?
Yeah.
People still like,
It's
we all know
illegal for
people that
medical,
do it,
illegal
so
for
it's like-
recreational use.
What about the fact that if it's legal, it's more accessible?
I mean, it's
So
accessible
more
now.
more people use it.
Just like alcohol.
I think every neighborhood has
Yeah.
like the house that smells like weed, like where it's like all the time.
I mean, I think it
What
already
what
is
if
pretty
what if the
accessible.
substance was changed? What if the substance was something worse, like cocaine? We'll say we'll just throw cocaine out there.
Like illegal? Like legal?
Yeah, like
Or-
legal.
well,
Like
no.
what-
Making it legal.
Yeah. What
Cocaine?
if it was making cocaine legal?
Well, that's like way different than weed though. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think
that's
cocaine
what I'm
should be
asking.
legal.
Like, what are you? Why is it different? Can you explain?
Like, I'd much rather hang out with someone smoking weed than a crackhead. But, like I've seen like people with weed like have like functioning jobs, but I only see like crackheads like chilling at the side of the road or like chilling outside Walmart.
Yeah, I think they both have very different effects on people completely, you know. For example, one's a stimulant, one's a downer, you know. If you're and cocaine is like highly addictive, like really addictive because of the dopamine it triggers in your brain.
Yeah.
I guess you know, weed hasn't been proven to be physically addictive, but it's still possible to develop a psychological dependency on it, which is a big issue that needs to be addressed. And I think a big problem that needs to be addressed is, you know, minors in general having access and participating in substance abuse because of the harm it could have on their development.
Which one? Marijuana?
I mean, marijuana, alcohol.
Because, I mean, there is some evidence to support that marijuana can promote psychosis when used in teenagers. You know, specifically under 18, specifically like 15, 16, 17, I'd say. So the teen years. I mean, using marijuana in those years can promote psychosis.
Well, I don't think it should be legal then. I think it's like probably like 21 or 18.
Yeah, 21 or 18.
For minors.
Yeah.
And I just want to go out and say that I completely agree that cocaine is way different than marijuana. Cocaine is much more addictive, or at least it's established as highly addictive, and it plays on circuits that you can be addicted to, like dopamine, whereas marijuana not so much.
I don't like drugs, so
Especially the abuse of it's going.
be all legal. What y'all think about vaping?
What do I think about vaping?
I already have my thoughts on vaping.
The problem is, I mean, you start giving it to, or you start allowing. If it becomes so accessible, it becomes accessible to teenagers as well. I mean, you see that all the time, teenagers vaping. And I mean, it's not even so much the effects it has on their development, but more on the fact that we're talking about teenagers who their frontal lobe isn't fully developed. And I mean, they're less likely to know when to stop and why to stop than somebody who's lived longer with more experience and somebody who their frontal lobe is completely developed, you know, which their frontal lobe affects decision making. So
I think with vaping there was a good intention, you know. At first it came out as a product to help people quit cigarettes and help people with nicotine cravings, but I think overall it's been a negative on, just because it's more like marketable towards children. I know, you know, tobacco companies say that it's not marketable towards children, but who else is going to be, you know, smoking sour Raz apple than children.
Yeah.
I don't think most adults would be interested in that.
Yeah, and the tobacco company also used to say that smoking wasn't harmful for your health. Yeah, and that's completely true. Like, I mean, you ask most of these people that are vaping, you know, do they smoke cigarettes, or do they smoke cigarettes, or do they like it as much? And they'll say they don't. I mean, like, half the time they say that it tastes terrible, and that vaping tastes way better because it's flavored. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, there's some companies that completely tailor to like children and teenagers. Like they'll make specific designs that are for children. Like
They started adding games, like
yeah,
games on the
yeah, exactly.
the
And,
box,
like,
whatever.
Geek bar with the screen on it.
The screen.
like it's. I mean, it's obvious what they're trying to do. I mean, they're making money off of hurting kids and teenagers. Well, teenagers are children, but you know, younger children.
I feel what you're saying. I think it's like a complicated issue though, because like obviously like vaping's bad, but I think when it goes like, I don't know how you would completely get rid of it, because I mean obviously it's not legal now, but like I would say like a good amount of teenagers do it, and even if it wasn't vaping, it would be like something else that would come along and take its place, like how our grandparents like smoked cigarettes when they were like in high school. So I think, I mean, I'm not even out of high school. I don't know how to solve it, but like something else. I don't think it's not just vaping. Like something like other things are gonna take its place, like even without vaping.
Yeah, I mean, like eventually it'll take its place, but there was like a time span where there was definitely like a big drop of cigarette use. I don't know what time frame it was, but they started coming out with ads where they were putting a bunch of old men who are like super rich and like greedy, like basically showing they're making all this money off of like teenagers and kids smoking cigarettes, because the teenagers and kids knew that it was bad for their health, but that didn't stop them. But once they saw that there was a bunch of old men making a bunch of money off of them, they're like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. You know, it's the rebellious nature of teenagers. It's whatever's rebellion.
Yeah, that's why like, it's always gonna like if you tell someone like something's like illegal, I guess, but if they can like get to it and do it, and like once someone tells you like you shouldn't be doing something, like you always like kind of want to do it.
I still think vaping's overly accessible though, because it's not illegal. It's illegal for teenagers, but I mean, if the marketing company is going to tailor towards teenagers, I mean, what's stopping the plugs? What's stopping the plugs from doing that? And plus, they make more money too because they sell out of a profit.
How do you think it all started? Like, do you think peer pressure factors in?
Oh yeah, peer pressure
And,
definitely.
Like media, social media.
Yeah, well, no,
Yeah.
like half of it's like a bunch of kids just trying to get attention. Like they want to be cool. Oh, this is cool. You know, like everybody's telling me that I should smoke this, so if I do it, I'm cool. And then I started to get invited to more parties, and I'm known as the guy who can like vape 5 things, or whatever.
Do a
and,
French inhale.
Yeah, and freaking chug a thing of vodka. You know. It's like,
I respect like the people that will, like I think like the corniest thing you can do, like if you like don't want to vape, like you do it, it's like look cool, like I feel like that shit's lame, but like I would almost have respect for someone that would like genuinely had interest in it and would like do it like quietly, like in the room or something where no one would see it, because at least like you know they're generally into it, but like just doing it to look cool is like kind of, I don't know.
Or don't you think that's how like frat parties are like all about?
What?
To look cool for other people?
Yeah, like doing it like I don't think like, I've never looked at someone vaping and thought like, oh yeah, that looks cool as hell.
well, those kids that vape like by themselves, they got started somewhere. They got addicted somehow, and I'm willing to bet that kid probably got addicted because their friends put them on.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the culture is a big issue too. You know, with like high school parties, it's all about like, you know, who's gonna have, are they gonna have drinks tonight? You know, who has what, and it's like you're not even concerned about who you're hanging out with or the experience in general. You're just concerned about, you know, just
Being cool.
yeah.
I have a question.
Paying
It's just
attention.
like, what is the whole point in like frat parties in college, and why do they like promote colleges as a party school? Is it just to bring more people into that college? Because for me, my opinion on frats, just
Yeah, I mean, the frat's like a pay to win. Like, how much money do these guys spend per month or per year, semester?
One of my
I mean-
friends spends like it's like the thousands.
Yeah, it depends on what college. Like, you're paying to have friends. You're not cool at all. Like, and then like 20 years down the line, these guys are 40 years old. They're coming to a frat party. Like, you should have kids. Like, you should be doing with something with your life. But no, you're freaking drinking and you're trying to have with 20-year-old women. Like, you're not cool. So like, it's kind of like tailored to these people that have a lot of money, or they use all their money. Maybe they work a 9 to 5 and they just spend all their time just so they can make enough money so they can have some friends, and then they attract some women, and then it's like, or then the sororities do the opposite. So, and that's kind of I think that's the frat culture. You bring enough drinks and enough drugs, people are gonna start collecting, especially teenagers.
Yeah. What was the original, like, you said, like, why would people join it, or?
Yeah, like, why would, because, like, I heard some colleges promote, like, their party, like, the frat, like, it's like, oh, this is a party school, so, like, is it to, like, I don't know, it's like, what is the point of that?
I think it's because, like as humans, like, we want to feel like part of, like, a community, like, we want to feel, like, accepted, like, but I don't think, like, a frat was, like, the way to do it, like, paying to, like, be in it and, like, to have friends and stuff. I think it's, like, also, like the age, like, you're young and you want to experience things. Like, I wouldn't, like I would still, like, when I go to college, like, I'd probably go, like, just see what it's about, but I probably want to, like, do other stuff, like, just, like, to get the experience, but I don't think that should be, like, your life. Like, this is what I'm gonna be around constantly, like, every weekend or every night.
Yeah.
And I think there's definitely, like, other places you can find a community better. Like, you can, like, develop social skills and make friends. You can go to church. You can do other things. You don't have to join a frat.
Yeah, I think joining a frat is a little ridiculous. You know, you're supposed to join it to have a sense of camaraderie, but there's still, like, even then, being in the frat, there's still a lot of animosity between the brothers, in between themselves. So
yeah, because they pay to live with each other. Like, they're not gonna really, or they pay to just hang out with each other. It's not like they establish a genuine connection every time.
It's a big risk too. Like, how do you know you're gonna like the people in there?
Yeah, exactly. You're spending a bunch of money, and then, like, there's like a group leader. Like,
Also, the morals in there, it's just like, it's all negative. Like, I don't know all the morals, but, like, it's leaning towards the negative side, because, like, sometimes, like, some of the rules are like cheat on your girlfriend to get in, or like,
yeah, no, what's it called to get in?
Initiation.
Hazing.
Hazing. Yeah,
cheating on your girlfriend to get in, or like, I don't know.
It's how far are you willing to go
to join, your commitment
Yeah.
to be in the group.
It's like a
No,
cult almost.
I think it's rooted in hedonism. Like, it's just like a bunch of young people who obviously don't have children. They don't have a wife. They may have a girlfriend. You know, young men who have girlfriends, and a girlfriend's way different from having a wife. I mean, that bond is completely different. You can't just decide, get up and leave, and whenever you want to, like, you can when you're just dating somebody. But, like, it's just about having fun and having pleasure. But what they don't realize is that in the future they're gonna be regretting what they did.
Well, I don't really think you guys know what, like, a frat actually is. Like, there's like, it's like deep, it's like rooted in, like, you know, good intentions. Because the point of a fraternity is, the point of Greek life in general is supposed to be philanthropy and community service.
Yeah.
So that's like why the schools, you know, have fraternities.
Yeah, I understand. It's like the fraternities are like charity, and so it's like they do volunteer work, but I mean,
it's the culture around them. It's
what
the
it's
culture.
become.
Yeah,
It's like the main
American
picture.
culture.
The main picture is just
Yeah.
party. Because if you think of a frat, you think of the parties or stuff like that. You don't really.
Think
It's not
about
so
it.
much the organization as much as it is the people that are in it.
I like
The culture. I like what you said. The culture around it, because I mean the culture's obviously passed down. It's not like a few bad apples. the culture continues passing it down.
The idea is definitely good though, like, especially like if you're moving to a new place, like I mean the paying for it, like, I don't think the intention was like to pay to have friends. It's probably just like the living space, but like especially if like you're moving to a new city, like I can see like why you would want to join like a group of people. It's easier to socialize and make friends, but I think like American culture and stuff is like probably like washed it down to like something that like isn't a good thing.
Well, I think there's a good reason for it. I think there's a good reason for why people think that.
For what? Think what?
Why we believe that the frats are generally bad.
Yeah.
I think there's a good reason for it, because I mean the people that are in it, they don't make a good example. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's like the idea of it's good, but like what it actually is, like the culture, like it's become.
It's like communism.
Get on central planned government.
You gonna join a frat when you go to college?
Nah, I don't think so. Send them away.
He doesn't know, bro.
Yeah, I don't really know any like.
I'm sure there is like good ones though, like, but
Yeah.
like the basic idea of like
You said they
stereotype
like
of frat.
help, like it's a community. Like, they
Yeah,
also like help people.
The point is community service and
Okay, I mean that's good. Just like the partying aspects.
Yeah,
Like-
no, yeah, it's the culture around it.
Yeah, but as like the community stuff, that's good. Like, if frats were just that, like helping out the community and stuff like that, and like not partying, I'd join one.
I'm gonna go out here and say something controversial, but it's something I actually believe. Definitely would like to debate it. I think that's what is promoted when you take God out of a society. I think when you take those fundamental religious values out of a society, frat-like groups, frat's just an example, that starts happening. That promotes it, like it. Without those fundamental values that you've been taught and that you believe in, because they're not easy to follow. You have to really believe in it, because it's just like you're not going to keep that up your whole life. It's just I'm just doing it, you know, like that. It takes a lot of work to be a good Christian, for example. So I think when you take that out, frats and all kinds of worse things start showing up, like communism.
I think I kind of agree, but I wouldn't even say it's just down to God too. I feel like those are just like basically like moral like principles to have, like don't cheat on your girlfriend, like. So I think it's definitely like obviously like religion would help a lot with it. I don't know. I think it's definitely. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I just think it's like a lot, like especially like it happens a lot in history too, like when
People fall out of the covenant with
with
God,
God,
like Israel in the Bible.
yeah. Like if you read the Bible, it happens a lot, and then
Yeah.
everything goes.
Well,
like,
yeah. I mean, it's like good things start happening. The society starts flourishing, and then they forget God, and they start worshiping the money and the fame and the power and the pleasure that they get. You know, especially the money. It's like their riches and their power.
It's like angel engine.
And then once they start doing that, they're obviously not worshiping the Lord anymore. If he's like third base, he's third place, second place. Money's before him though, and so that's when he got mad in the Bible multiple times, multiple examples. But like to David's point of those are just kind of fundamental moral values. I want to go out and say that I think most of those fundamental moral values actually stem from religion, because I mean, for example, like the idea of all people are created in the image of God, or all people are equal. That the idea that all people are equal, and that like everybody deserves to say freedom of speech. Everybody has inherent rights. That comes from obviously the Old Testament, when God makes man in the image of God, you know? So it's like, if you would have told that to the Greek philosophers like Socrates and Aristotle and Plato, they would have thought that was wild. Like that was not an idea that was proposed at that time, that all people were equal. Oh, like that's not. They had a lot of things to point out that are good, but that idea in particular, you know, I don't know. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I do think religion is overall good for society. It's good to have a moral foundation for everyone. I think it's important. I think that's the way it's been done, and I think that's the way it should be continued to be done, because it's the most effective way. You know, with religion, people are overall better to each other than without it. Like comparing like now to let's say the medieval period. You know, you don't see as many people getting their heads cut off.
Wait. Sorry. Can you go back? Last few sentences. I got distracted. What did you say again?
That it's an overall good, and you know, ever since, you know, compared to medieval ages now, with religion being, you know, at its most present when it was, there's less beheadings.
So do you mean like less?
Chaos.
Do you mean when religion wasn't involved, or
When it
or
was.
when it was
When it was involved.
when it was brought to an extreme because of false interpretations? Because that's what I think it is. I mean, like, clearly Christ didn't go on the earth and tell people, oh, like, they don't follow my teachings, you gotta torture them, like me. Because, I mean, you have to think that the cross, crucifying somebody, is one of the worst ways of torture. The way he was killed is one of the worst tortures ever committed, and like imaginable. Like it's one of the worst ways to die. And so it's like, it's not like he would go out and propose that idea. Like never did he say that in the New Testament or the Old Testament. It's like that if you don't follow me, you know, cut their head off, or put them on that medieval spinning wheel and throw knives at them. Like that was obviously like religious hypocrites and extremists who took it way too far, and were not acting in the way of God, and were doing things that were very harmful for the faith.
Yeah, on
They
that top.
weren't Christian during the Middle Ages. It was mostly pagans.
Medieval?
Yeah,
The medieval times.
medieval times.
You
Most
talking
of
about
the
like
kingdoms.
medieval Rome?
No, not medieval Rome. Medieval Europe.
Holy Roman Empire?
Well, I mean, like in the medieval times, like we're talking about like 1,000 or the year 1,000.
Yeah,
or
1,000.
I mean, there was a lot of Christians
None in Europe.
because
But the kingdoms were mostly pagan. For like, I'm talking about like.
I mean, it was like separated though, because like if you look at Rome, like Rome was
Rome was different.
Rome
Rome-
was predominantly Christian.
Yeah, Rome was like right about to hit the Renaissance, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, like each religion's got extremists and hypocrites.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think your overall point's right.
But I even if you weren't saying them, the Christians, I just mean like in
That-
general, because like the Christians still can be accused for that. Like, oh, why would I believe in Christianity if a bunch of Christians were going out and doing these tortures to people? Or like, you know, why would I believe in Christianity if, you know, they incited certain wars?
I mean, if
Like-
that's your
like the whole-
standpoint, then why believe in any religion? Everyone's had conflict.
Exactly.
human nature.
Yeah,
I
and,
feel like-
Christianity is just the biggest
and
one.
there are bad apples, and like those bad apples they can collect up. You
It's
know?
like religion's like a man like run thing. Like it's like there's gonna be like
Yeah, religion. Like I know what
Perfections
you're
and-
talking about. Like the religion is man-made, God is.
cause like right like God like that's like almost like the opposite like of Jesus, but like doesn't like in the Bible when like someone wouldn't want to believe in them, like he wouldn't like do anything to them, he'd just like move on.
Yeah, I mean, and then he purposely went out for the sinners. You know, like he met the woman who had 7 husbands, at the well, and he asked her for some water, and she asked him why. She's a Samaritan woman. That's very important too, because the Jews hated Samaritans and Samaritans hated Jews, because the Samaritans were looked at as unclean because they were a mix. They like mixed. They came from the 10 tribes of Israel, but they like mixed with other nations when they were kicked out of Babylon. So like Samaritans and like the Jews hated the Samaritans hated them for hating them. And then Jesus went to the Samaritan, the unclean woman who had 7 husbands, and he asked her first to give him water, and he proposed his ministry to her as one of the first people. So.
What was that? I remember learning. I don't know if it was like last year, but I learned something about like how I think it was in Rome, where they used Catholicism as like political power.
Yeah, no, that's been used a
Yeah,
lot
that's a
through
like-
history. Yeah,
All like the
I mean, like-
communications and stuff. Like
yeah,
that.
and certain popes through history, you know, like
when you could just buy
more power,
pardons.
more power than kings. But it's the problem isn't the authority, or the problem isn't popes. Like all the popes are the problem. That's not the
Yeah.
problem. It's like the problem is that when you have that much power, it's extremely difficult to not act immorally if you can do whatever you want. You know, that's kind of like a lot of people say, or a lot of people act as if they're moral, or they say that they're moral because they didn't do something in particular, like, oh, I didn't fight with this person. But like when you look at it more deeply, you can see that that person, even if they fought that other person, they would lose. Like that person was just too weak. Like, you're not moral just because you're too weak to stand up and do anything. You're moral when you have the power to do something but you decide not to. Like Jesus.
That's tough.
Like Jesus could have took himself off the cross. He could have struck those people down, or struck the people
There
down.
was a bunch of, how many? There was like they said like 8 or 7 armies of angels prepared to attack humans when Jesus was nailed on the cross to start a war or something like that.
Wait, there was what?
Like seven armies of angels, something like that. I don't know.
Oh, is it like a Catholic?
Yeah, a
thought?
Catholic
David,
thing.
you know?
David, you know, like
I know what you're talking about.
like there was like 7 armies ready to
The
start
car
a war.
mentioned it.
Slime out humanity, bro.
Yeah, ready to
Kill humanity
Yeah.
after.
they
That's
crucified
the key word.
Jesus. What were you gonna say, cameraman?
I was gonna say, how do we feel about people idolizing the Pope because he's in like a
Position
position of power?
First, did y'all see the new Pope?
Pope Leo the 14th.
From the Shy.
Yeah, I wish
From the Chirac.
From this shy.
I wish it was the Filipino Pope.
This is Pope Robert Prevost. That's his name,
Bro,
right?
then
know.
all the aunties would be like, him, bro,
I
I
know.
don't want to hear that.
no, chill.
No, I don't care.
I was thinking about it today. I was like, does God really care who the new pope is though? I feel like that's like a man like made thing. And like even like as like a Catholic, bro, like I do not care what the pope does.
This is like my first, like I saw a video like when they revealed, like when they closed the door or something like that, a new point is appointed or something like that.
Well, the Pope makes policies though, like he can change a lot. He can change a lot in the Catholic Church and how you worship, and it might be like subtle, but it's still there. Like it, especially when you're working with theology, like those subtle differences can make a lot.
Francis was a lot more open with same-sex couples.
Yeah, so
compared
like
to many
you
other
make,
popes.
you start establishing those policies, and then
None of that was
homosexuality
controversial,
is available in the Catholic Church, and then they might start even allowing marriage, for instance. You know what I mean? Like whereas before you couldn't. So that's, the Pope can do that. Like, and the Pope, I mean, I'm not Catholic, but the idea there is that the Pope has the authority because he speaks with God directly, or he prays and he receives revelation from God, that he can propose these policies. He can change all these things. I mean, it's not like he's gonna say something wild. You keep pause real quick. Do a little cut.
Yeah, what?
Are you gonna? We're doing something.
Aren't your arms tired?
You wanna take a little break?
I'm tired.
We're doing something. Yeah. Alright, can you not walk past back and forth though?
Take a little break, Brandon. Your arm's good. You wanna be in it? I'll hold it.
No, that's fine.
This is a good conversation.
Yeah.
This
You
is
wanna be in it? I'll hold it.
No, it's fine.
Brandon,
I
how
can't.
long are
it's
you allowed to
close,
have
dude.
it? How long are you allowed to have that stuff?
Hey, the longer I have it, the higher grade I'm gonna get, because he's not gonna read all of it. He's not gonna look through all of it.
But like,
My last
you
one
only-
was 30 minutes.
You only have like a week.
If the Catholic Church, like if the Pope
Yeah,
had to make like
I only
if
have
he
2
did something
days.
like extreme, like
Oh,
made like
correct.
I only
gay
have 2
marriage,
days to
in
like
the
edit it
Catholic Church,
realistically,
anything like the
so I'm gonna
actual
have to
church
stay
that
after
would
class.
allow
Wait, do you
the
have
people
to
in the
be in
church
it
to do something.
during your project?
Wait, so you have to turn in tomorrow or Monday?
I thought that people
No,
have
I have to
power
edit
to
it.
vote, like
I'm gonna stay after
if he's
class.
doing like
probably.
extreme stuff.
I mean, realistically, it shouldn't take me more than 3 hours.
If you need help editing, I can help edit.
Nah, it's not that. It's just like if you actually want it done professionally. But it depends, because a podcast you don't have many cuts. It's
Yeah.
only gonna be one cut, so it's gonna be a lot easier.
Yeah.
So it probably don't take me like an hour.
I mean, I don't think we'll talk for much longer because
Yeah.
we've been talking for about 45 minutes. Right?
No, honestly, it's not even that. It's just transcribing the sequence, and then like that's pretty much it. That's all I have to edit.
Oh, this is fun. So,
He got into that topic without
Have
me
you
knowing.
talked about
what topic? Theology?
Yeah.
I was
Have you talked about sneak it in there?
I was trying to guide you guys towards
You did not like
idolization of the Catholic
You
Church.
didn't like it?
Or
No, I didn't like it.
idolization to the
I just-
Catholic Church.
Have you talked about like why you created this podcast? Like for the first episode?
We didn't have a reason.
Realistically.
You should have
It's not
What's
that
the name? 3, 2.
Alright, we're gonna switch up the topic and we're gonna start talking about what is the current most concerning public issue that needs to be addressed and how can it be fixed?
So, I have some like issues in like the society. Like, it could be about like inflation or mental health. I feel like that's big. What else? I feel like those two. For inflation, I don't really know how that could really be fixed, or like, I guess mental health, but you guys can help me on that. See what y'all think about it.
I've had a very complicated relationship with my mental health. I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder when I was like 16ish. And for a while I thought like it affected my life majorly. I lacked a lot of motivation and just didn't enjoy my life. So I went through therapy, and I got put on medication. I was put on Prozac or Flextazine, and they just like went throughout doses, started at 10. I think they took me up to like 60, and I just really didn't like the effect it had on me. It didn't make me feel better. It just made me feel, I guess, kind of numb. I couldn't really feel like much. I guess I was, satisfied overall, but I couldn't really feel like happy. So I got off the medication because I felt like it wasn't what I needed. What I needed was like, something within, deeper than, I guess, the, chemical imbalances in my brain. It's like finding a drive within me. So it took a lot of like finding meaning, and, I still am, I still struggle with motivation and that stuff, but I don't feel like I need medication or treatment. Me personally, that's my approach to it. I don't notice it much in my life, and I think it just takes a lot of how you deal with it and what works for you. I guess medication and treatment may help with other people, but for me, I found it's, I guess, a lot more purpose driven.
Do you think that there's an overprescription of medical disorder related drugs?
Medication? Oh yeah.
Medication.
Every kindergartner's on Adderall nowadays, bro.
Yeah, that's a big problem. And I just heard recently that, and this is not recent, this is something that's been going on for a long time and I just didn't know. I was just ignorant of it, but like New York Times came out with a paper showing that 99% of the people that were 99% of the children that were prescribed medication for ADHD did not need that medication. That only 1% of the people who had ADHD required that medication, and it actually helped them. Well, the only 1% of them, which were the actual overly rowdy. It's not just rowdy children. I mean, like, a lot of times they'll be prescribed, or they'll be diagnosed with ADHD just because they're a rowdy child. I mean, there's like plenty of rowdy children. It doesn't mean you have ADHD, but like the people that actually have ADHD, it's completely different. It's like a whole nother level. So it's like 99%, they knew what they were doing. Like, that's injustice.
Yeah, and they were so quick to prescribe me that medication. Like, it was almost quicker than the treatment, like quicker than the therapy. Like, they were like, I think it was like one or two sessions in there, and then boom, they were like, oh yeah, I think you should hop on this and this.
Did it cost a lot, or
my insurance covered it, but
without the insurance,
yeah, it would have cost a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially like it's consistency too.
Yeah, I mean, like, you think, oh, $50, but $50 every 2 weeks, and then every month, and every year.
That adds up.
Also, thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah, that's something really big and personal.
You remind me of, right, this is gonna sound serious. Have you seen like the Cookie King Santa Cruz interview, and they were talking about like no, Cookie was talking about he got put on antidepressants and like he didn't like the way it made him feel.
Yeah.
And like Santa Cruz talking about he had like ADHD medication just because like he would misbehave in class, and he said that
It's
like
ridiculous, yeah.
he said that it was like a culture like thing of like just like getting kids to behave and like not eat like a bunch of like sugar and act up instead of just giving them medication.
I think people need to be more tolerant with children. I think kids are always going to be a little naughty, you know, like a little devious, because that's just how little kids are. They're always going to mess around in class.
Yeah, they're gonna be out of uniform too, like out of conformity. They're just coming into this earth. I mean, they're not gonna already know how to act in a social setting always. It doesn't. I mean, they may be 8 years old and they're still acting like that, but like, it's different from a grown-up and adult.
Yeah, I don't think
the brain's not developed.
Kid misbehaving needs to
By
be
any
put on
means.
an amphetamine. You know,
it is. Yeah, it's an amphetamine. That's the ridiculous part
it's
too.
It's like
It's so addictive.
it's literally
It's on amphetamines.
like,
literally.
one little string could be the difference between that and meth.
Yeah, and you know the crazy part is that I saw a chart once where you see the difference in how much each drug stimulates dopamine. So dopamine is the circuit in the brain that gives you excitement, that gives you motivation, and that is what is played on by certain drugs like cocaine, methamphetamine, and there's a bunch of other ones. I mean, and then like you get a dopamine rush when you have sex, or like when you partake in certain activities, like maybe watching a movie is dopamine stimulating, or playing video games, but that's to much lesser extent than drugs. But they found that they were showing that cocaine stimulates dopamine by 100 times over the baseline. 100 times over the baseline. And the thing is, it's not like it just goes up, rockets high, and then it comes back to baseline. The crazy part is that the higher it goes, the farther it plummets past baseline after like 12 hours or so, or whenever the drug is completely weared off. It plummets below baseline. That's why people,
That's addiction.
it's addiction. They get addicted to it, they keep taking it, and then they start developing more tolerancy to it, so it doesn't stimulate as much. But the difference between cocaine and methamphetamine is wild. Methamphetamine stimulates dopamine circuits by 1,000 times.
Yep.
And you think it's only a little bit different from what they're giving you. They're giving little children because they're rowdy.
I met this girl. I reunited with her a couple weeks back after, not seeing her for like 2 years. And she told me about her issues with Adderall and, addiction to it. And, like at the worst of it, she lost a lot of weight. Like she was like skin and bone, and her heart was failing, so she had to be put on beta blockers, just to deal with the issues that it caused. And
Stack medication.
yeah, and now she's dealing with, because of overprescription. I mean, her psychiatrist would just hand it out to her whenever she would,
It's terrible.
try to like negotiate with them, because she was, addicted. She was full on addicted to it. And at what point is it the user's fault, and at what point is it Big Pharma's fault for, overprescribing this to everyone and, pushing it?
What other solution do you think should be like implemented instead of
How
just
can this be fixed?
doing drugs? Or
I think there should be more of a focus on, I guess counseling's already a big part of it, but I think there should be more of an emphasis with counseling, because I think, my like year of counseling, or like I guess therapy, was a lot more helpful than my medication in general,
Definitely.
And there's like a lot of, I think therapists make, a good bit of money, but it's a really hard like job, fitting in all these clients, your schedule's packed, it's just like hard trying to, and I think there needs to be more support, and there definitely needs to be more, I guess, people who can help, and, less of a focus on prescribing a medication for every issue.
do you think friends play like people close to you?
It's
friends play-
important to have a good social connection with people around you, I guess I was going from like a medical perspective, but in your life you need to have people around you.
Family.
When you isolate yourself, that's when you go to your lowest.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then sometimes people require a little bit more. That's why that like, it's very, I think it's it's very difficult to find a friend who's truly as good as a therapist at listening. I mean, it's not even.
That was a bug.
It's not even that the friend is just being a bad friend. It's just the listening and the education that a therapist goes through, so that they're that good at bringing that deep emotional state out of you. It's just, I mean, you can't expect that out of just any friend. You find that out of the few. You find that out of the very few, I think, for sure. But I like this, what I heard about depression that I thought was very interesting from a clinical psychologist, where he said that most of the people who believe that they have depression are actually, it's that that their life isn't in order, that their life is just ruined. Like it's not ruined, it's in ruins. It's like everything around them is going bad, or something very traumatic is going on, like failed relationships, or the death of a family member, and then they're diagnosed with depression because they show some of the similar symptoms. But if they fix the things in their life, and they had a life that was what is generally considered a happy life, they fixed their relationships, they got a job that they like, that's meaningful, that's very important, and they had support groups, they would not be diagnosed with depression, or they wouldn't show the same symptoms of it. They wouldn't require the medicine. But those people that still have all those things in line, and they still don't feel happy, or it's not even about happy, they still have depressive symptoms, those people are the ones that really require medication.
I feel like there's a big misconception about depression for most people. People think that being depressed and like having depression is being sad. There's a difference between being, depressed and sad over like
feeling empty.
Yeah,
like
it's
no
like
emotion.
Yeah, there's like a difference between like a short, like sadness. That it's normal to grieve. It's normal to suffer. But it's not normal when it's your daily routine. You're just completely lacking motivation, and you're completely lacking drive, and you deal with routine. Like Benson said, I guess it's kind of a feeling of emptiness.
Yeah.
So how can you find motivation, or what motivated you, per se?
I guess one of my biggest motivations was, I guess having I wouldn't say I've always been such a good person in my life, and I think one of the biggest things I've been trying to change on this year is to be better to people overall, and to treat people better. And I know I may not be great at it yet, but I'm trying my hardest, and I'm proud of that.
What does that look like for you? What does the goal look like for you? How do you know if you've achieved it?
I guess I don't know. I don't really know what I'm working towards. I just trying to make improvements every day.
Is there a role model, or someone who you've seen who acts a particular way and you admire that, and so you try to implicate in their life? So a lot of times people do that. They see their father do that, or they see a celebrity, or somebody they can take on as a mentor, even if they don't even know them. And oftentimes they do know them, it's their father, but
Yeah, I'd say my dad's my biggest role model. He's the most hardworking man I've ever met. And it may sound like an odd role model, but the celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain is one of my role models, because I really liked his show Open Reservations, because it's the show's about traveling the world and experiencing different culture and being, connecting with people through, I guess the method was through food, but it was also, just showing how across language barriers there's still human connection.
Yeah, I like The Menu.
The Menu, the movie.
Yeah, I like
Have you seen The Menu?
Yeah, I've seen The Menu.
This is just a joke, but yeah, no, that's I like that.
One plain cheeseburger.
What about you
plain
guys?
cheeseburger.
Like, who are role models for you guys, and what do you admire about them most that you try to implicate in your own life?
I would say like I have like someone like besides I guess my parents, like I always admire like my mom, and like my mom takes care of her, good care of her parents, and how my dad, like, he works at a job he hates, still like still like does it for us. Like I think they've always, like, I can always tell they've been like just all about us and like sacrificing for their kids. But I wouldn't say like I have like a person like that I look and like I want to be like. I just try to like, I guess, like figure it out myself and try to like just do my best to be good to people.
I think the crazy thing about the part about having children too, that when you make all those sacrifices, a lot of times people think that all those sacrifices that my parent is making for me, they're sacrificing their happiness too. I mean, like, there's a lot of sacrifice involved. They don't get to go and participate in those hedonic pleasures, you know, and they don't go and party and spend all their money on whatever. But it's also like the importance of meaning and purpose is so important for happiness too. Like when you have a child, and that when you have a child, it gives you a deep sense of purpose and meaning, and acting in accordance with that brings you happiness. Like it's kind of like that's why it's not, when they poll parents, they don't find that parents are on average, if any, much less happy than single couples, or I mean not single couples, couples who don't have children. It's because like when they see their children progress, and when they see that their most meaningful goal in life is coming to coming to fruition, they're happy, they're satisfied, they see their family.
I want to try to tie this back into like the mental health. Like, do you think like teen parents or like young parents, when they have children, you know, they develop stress, and like, I don't know if there's like any recorded cases of it, but like, you know, like how you said, like sadness and stuff like that, you think like having a child too early could lead to like depression or like any other mental health, like
Me?
or like just in general, just
do
the
I think
question.
that?
Does anyone think that?
I think it's highly stressful and it's really difficult, but I think overall, you know, if things do go well, if there's not like issues with the parents in between each other, and if they have a good support network, I think overall they're happier. You know, I guess having a not like being a teen parent, but like having a child makes you happier. You know, having something you love more than yourself.
David?
Yeah. I think it's definitely like situational. Like I think obviously like it's gonna add a lot of stress, and like if you're a teenager, like it's gonna, especially if like it's just you, like it's gonna add a lot of stress, and like it's basically like changes your whole life. Like you can't just like you're at the age usually where you'd be going for what you want to do, but now you just kind of have to do what you can to support like a child.
Yeah.
And I think like my mom has a lot of single like mom friends. Like they definitely seem like more stressed, or like they just seem like different than the ones that have family members. But I think it can also be situational too. Like a lot of, like I'm sure like it was like one point probably common to have like a kid as a teenager, but it's just like the way like our society's set up and like what you're supposed to be doing at that age. Like I can see how it can be hard, and how like you wish you could be doing other things. We have to like take care of a person at such a young age. But like I know a lot of like athletes and stuff, or like rich people, they have kids at a young age, and I mean I'm sure if you have all the resources and stuff, it's fine. But I think just because of how everything is, like it's really hard to do that at, like I couldn't imagine having a kid right now. That'd be crazy. It'd be nice though if I had all the money, like, and I had a wife, I probably would have a kid right now.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. I think that's where we'll stop this. We'll wrap it up. We'll end the podcast episode with that. So, see you guys next time. Goodbye. You gotta have a better like outro.
Really? No pencil lead in Chromebooks?
What do you want to talk about?